What is up, everybody? This is Tikwe, also known as Richard, and I'm coming back to you guys with a special video. Sorry for being away, firstly, for a long time, but you know what? I've really enjoyed watching a bit of the tournaments. Like the Wallalo tournament and those type of things going on. But we are going to focus on a game today, focused on Liquid the Muslim Liquid because it's part of Team Liquid, and he's playing against Zero. Now, as an intermediate player myself, nothing fancy or higher really than platinum. This is a conqueror player and higher, some of the best in the world when it comes to Age of Empires 4. And it's so fascinating to see how these players play and how quickly they move around. Specifically, they got small little things like keybinds and all those little things down. But I'll leave a link in the description to DeMusliM. I'll see if I can find Zera on their streams, so I can link you guys to the Twitch. And just a big shout out to them and how amazing they are with their games that they play, and for us newbies to can analyze these games to kind of get an idea of how they play. So we'll watch this from the French player's perspective. He's the Muslims playing against the French. He's playing against Zero. Zero's playing the Rus. Now, in my opinion, this is a favorable matchup for the French player because when they go into early nights, it's going to be really nice to transition from those early nights, and the early nights are going to have um, a bit of an advantage when it comes to the aggression that they can apply, because if they go knight archers, then the Rus knight archers won't be able to counter because the Rus has early knights and the French have knights. So yeah, both of them do have that advantage in H2, but you can see now the French is going to get a bit of faster training speed on the villagers. Going full on food here, so that's 8 on food, and the double scouts training, making sure he gets the sheep, making sure he can focus on maybe trying to deny some of the deer patches like you can see right happening right here, both of them doing it right next to each other. But you want to deny the gold as much as you can with double scout, and just so you can make sure that you deny the wolves, deny the deer, and that's going to make his life a little bit more difficult as the Rus player. You can see he's picking up those wolves all over the map, and also finding the boars. The boars are important. You can see there's one right here. A nice little double deer patch here in the bottom right corner, which is a nice source of food. Second deer on the map is going to be in the corner right here. There's the one first deer, there's the second deer right here. And you can see now after the 8 villagers on food, then he transitioned into gold. So 8 and 2. That's the 8 and 3. There we go. So what you can expect from the Rus player if they go for early aggression, they get a little bit of gold trickling in here from the hunting cabin. You can see also went for 8 on food, going straight on wood because he does not need the gold because he's getting it all from the hunts. Um, you can see the Rus player a little trying to contest the wolves, trying to pick off those wolves and the deer, while the Muslim is actually fighting just to get a little bit of that gold denied. So it's going to be a really nice thing to see from other videos on the channel how comfortable this is going to transition. You can see the Zera gold is much higher than he needs, but it's more on the food economy than he needs to get ready. You need to make sure these scouts come back, so that you also don't run out of sheep. And now at 2 minutes 40, you can already hear that age up happening. There we go for the Rus player first. Or actually for the Muslim first, he was just queuing a villager, so he doesn't lose the villager count. Going over to wood now. So 4 on gold, 8 on food, dropped 3 food villagers to start building the School of Cavalry, and now transitioning into the wood line. So it was 8 and 2, 8 and 4, then transitioning into the wood line, and as soon as the wood line transitioned at 2 minutes 40, you take food villagers, transition them onto the landmark, School of Cavalry, and a little bit of a nice lead here on the Rus player, struggling to get that food up, mainly because the sheep was brought back late, so he couldn't get that efficient farming. And also he went for early wheelbarrow here from Zera's side. So Zera on early wheelbarrow, French player only getting his mill out now. The gold's going to come in basically the same time that you're going to get the H2. you're going to have the 175 gold that you need on the mill, and that mill is going to go straight into wheelbarrow, actually getting it a lot cheaper. As the French, you get reduced cost from your upgrades. So now a mill's out, immediately getting that wheelbarrow. So a slight earlier wheelbarrow here from zero, but a little bit of a population cap here. But another thing you have to remember, you don't really reach population cap, because you can see as soon as this one basically reaches the front, at the same time that villager is training, he never stops training, even though you have population cap. It still trains the unit. So while the unit's getting trained, the villager was building the house, and as soon as the house was done, the villager was done. So there was zero delay time on building those villagers. Now you can see rallying out to the forward stone, so probably going to go for a double town center. And the roost player now doing standard roost things, going for a probable forward deer, sorry, boar here. So there's the boar right here, a nice little hunting cabinet, and a wooden fortress that he just wants to get finished. So in case these royal knights start coming out, as you can see right here, that you don't have a raid coming in and making this life very difficult for the units right here. A big raid coming in here from Zera with using all those scouts. I wonder if he's going professional scouts. Actually not. Okay, so cool. He has the scouts, making use of them, getting the scouts out on the gold, getting some early harassment here. And a single knight just gonna come back here to apply some pressure on these scouts, and is gonna make the life a lot more difficult for the roost player, for Zero, as he's trying to get this gold isolated, so that Zero just tries and get that little economy lead that he's trying to. But a very late golden gate here for Zero. So Liquid DeMusliM here, a single knight's gonna be more than enough to deal with those scouts. And you can see the knights are being rallied towards the goal. Just a single knight trade, so giving the perception that he's going to get raided, forcing the Zero player on the roost to do defensive landmarks like the wooden fortress right here. No defense right here in the base right now, but as soon as this golden gate gets done, which is one of the best landmarks in the game, this is actually very bad, because you have 9 villagers idling because you had to force the golden gate. But what you'll find with the roost player now, as soon as he has the golden gate up, he'll trade with the golden gate, get some resources, and you can see how hard he's transitioning into wood, because he's probably going to use food and wood, go for spearmen and archers, because he can't really contest with these royal knights. Now, almost there we go, 300 stone right here, just waiting on a little bit of wood. You can see the town center has been rallied on the wood the whole time. So still on those 4, actually went up to 5 because there was a bit of idle time on the gold. Still 6 on the food. And now you can see he's pulling 10 villagers, going for a second town center, trying to secure probably gold, the deer, the sacred site right here. So very nice location to get a second town center up, would be somewhere in this area to guarantee this food and forward security. You can see a raid coming in now here from the scout, forcing the idle time of the food villagers here. Just a scout going down, so these scouts won't really do anything with the knight, but the knight wants to prioritize villagers instead of the scouts, because that's what's going to give them the priority. Really nice little outpost here, giving him vision. So from the perspective of Liquid DeMusliM, getting map control with this forward outpost, and you can see Zera struggling a little bit for resources here. And this is dangerous. He's going for he used the golden gate to build the second town center, but now you have 2 town centers, but you had an idle time of 18 villagers trying to rush up this town center. That's huge. I know you had the wood and everything to get that, but that's a lot of idle time. And the rule that Ozzy Drongo said once is, if you move your villagers around, you lose the game. Not saying it's good or bad, but it is worse when your villagers have to move around from the wood to the gold, from the sheep to the wood, from the wood to the landmark, and that all of that little walking time gives you idle time. You can see the Liquid DeMuslims villagers stayed on food, they stayed on gold, they stayed on wood, and now after the town center, straight onto the food. 21 villagers on food, which says he's probably going to go into a early aggression, or possible fast castle age. A French player doesn't really need to go castle age, but you always stand the risk of the Rus player going into castle age, and then you put yourself at a disadvantage because with the castle age out, how are you gonna defend against the knight's aggression early on if you don't have any um, aggression or units out on the field? Now you can see the consequences of that. The villagers here is isolated on the food. They know the second boar is here. Now those villagers are isolated still. Um, and still no more resources spent here. Wooden fortress going down on top of the wood line. A little bit of a difficult one because now your villagers has to run around your wood to get the wood dropped off. Still no professional scout or any secondary upgrade. No double broadaxe. We can just double check on the French player. He already has the horticulture coming out. He has specialized pig coming out. And he's got a double broadaxe, so huge on the upgrades. He's going to get those advantages up. And you can see how hard the Rus player is struggling just with a single knight or two to get these resources on these boars. And a single tower just making it very difficult with arrow slits to farm this food because you get a bit of extra range when you get those arrow slits upgrades. So now still no unit production or army for the Muslim player. Um, Going for another hunting cabin to secure the berries, but very difficult now. We're starting to run out of food because both boars got the knife. So either you have to go for the deer, which is a single deer versus a double deer spawn here at the back, so a bit of an advantage for the Muslim on the spawn. But you have a forward deer right here, really nicely knit together. So if you use those scouts for professional scouts, picked up the deer and brought the deer carcasses back. You could have secured this food right here. You could have secured these deer right here. So that would have given you at least, what's it, 200, 350 times 7, 6. So the 350 times 6. So it's about 1,500 food that you get from that. You can see now the knights really starting to just give him an advantage and going for the kill here with the triple stable. So the stables get the production speed increase, so they get the reduced cost influence of a keep. So it's going to be standard cost of these stable units, but you can see after the School of Cavalry, Royal Institution Landmark reduces research cost by 25%, but Access at Stable, all other stables produces units 20% faster. So you basically, this is 4 stables that you have, and you have the blacksmith out with the upgrades. Going now for Royal Institute, get those very heavy tanky knights, and just no answer here from Zera. You can see there's very few knights out on the field, but how effective they are. 2 knights right here, 4 knights, and you can see the economy boom now starting to play an effect. 60 villagers, and Zera is only on 49 villagers because the French also trains units faster. The French is literally S tier by far. They get it decreased cost on the mills. It's 25 wood to build your mills and your mines and stuff, so it's not that difficult to train up buildings that you lose. They have the quicker reduced cost upgrades. They have the Royal Institute, which makes these upgrades even cheaper, and you get Imperial upgrades in the castle age. You have faster unit production, you have faster villager production. You go for a double town center, it almost acts as 3 town centers. Now you're going for the monastery, you get the relics. It's just such a strong play from a French player to see how effective that is. You can see a fast castle also here from Zera. He knows he has to compete with DeMusliM on the castle age. If he leaves it out, it's going to be more difficult. But the food economy is the one that concerns me for Zera here. He's sitting on 32 food villagers, but there's no farms. So where do you all these villagers? You can see how they're just standing here waiting to gather food. This is bad because that gives you idle time. So they either have to go to the deer here at the back, or you need to transition into farms. And if you don't have any units on the map, once the Royal Institute gets dropped down and that mass starts falling for DeMusliM, it just becomes very difficult to focus on any economy because now you're dealing with Royal Knights with 35% increased health, and they also have the chivalry upgrade. It's just intense. They just come for a little raid, back off, little raid, back off. And these spearmen are hardened spearmen. They have the first upgrade, but they're not going to get phased that much by these spearmen because they're just going to outrun them. Nice little outpost coming down here, immediately fortifying the outpost, securing the forward gold. Um, and at this point in the game, it feels a little one-sided, especially because of the villager lead. It's almost a double economy. You see how aggressive Zera has to wall in this food. Shame, I'm sorry about the Zera. You can see he had to invest more wood back here. Securing the relics, which is probably the main reason the walls came down, is to get that relic control. That's going to give him that extra gold coming in from the Abbey of the Trinity right here. And he also has the extra trading from the Golden Gate. But my main concern for Zera is just transitioning all these villagers running around the whole time, trying to get this food supply secure. So now a bit of a mass of spearmen forming here, nice little men at arms with the scouts to give vision. And the priority is the relics. You can see the relic just being picked off right here. More resources being secured by the French player. And the nice thing here is DeMusliM doesn't need to mind losing this mining game because it's 25 wood and he's securing it with an outpost. Now picking up the relic, even worse. Probably going to get a nice little wall alarm probably here. Actually, has crossbow out. Zero has a few crossbow out. That's quite dangerous. Crossbow, spearman. It's going to be very dangerous for the French player to deal with the crossbow and spearman combo because this is extra 20 damage and the crossbow does an extra 9 damage. So they are going to be really, really good at dealing with this mass of cavalry right here. And you can't really raid because the walls have been put up to secure the food. But once this food runs out, all of this walls is a waste. What do you put inside here, you know? Um, so we can see now stone being gathered right here. Big fight coming in here with the Royal Knights fighting against Spearmen. Actually, very, very interesting that they are able to stand their ground against this. I think they're just trying to pick off the warrior monk here so he doesn't get those relics. But remember, these veteran knights are 310 health, so spearmen are taking 3 shots more or less with the Royal Knights to die. So after the brace, the Royal Knights are going to be able to demolish those armies because of the numbers and because of those Royal Institute upgrades. Just very, very difficult to deal with Royal Knights that have all the armor upgrades. You can see transitioning now into farms because the food supply here at the back is diminished. Very, very strong economy on the Muslim side and just a bit of a one-sided game. You can see now more relics being denied on the map. A relic being picked up here. There should be another one somewhere on the other side of the map. Forward, keep coming out here, securing the stone. You can see what I meant by the villagers running around. More villagers idle time by running towards the back of the food here. So that's about a minute of idle times running towards all this food. All this food, another deer carcass there, a little bit of a waste. No farm transitions, but you're just fighting a losing battle because every single time you start getting a lead, your units have to move and your food supply gets cut by 100%. Now, quite a nice army coming in here, basically full on Royal Knights against 12 crossbowmen, spearmen dwindling very quickly, trying to go for a little too late keep right here, and just a very nice counter attack here from DeMusliM here. These crossbows are going to do some decent damage. They have the +2 upgrade, so that's 20. What's it? So that's 24 damage each shot. So every volley is definitely going to be able to take out a single Royal Knight because, there's 12 of them. So if it's 24, 23 damage each, and there's 10 of them, he taps out. He's already in an economy disadvantage. Very, very nice demonstration from the Muslim on the French player, and you can see how he planned out his bases. I'm gonna wait for the video just to pause here at the end so I can just focus on the few points that I can make. Um, when you are playing these type of games, you do want to make sure that you are focusing on big strengths of your faction. I know French has a lot of them right now, but you know you get the double or the extra 20% for faster villager training. Your upgrades are cheaper. Your Royal Knights can benefit from the School of Cavalry and from your Royal Institute. So if you're going to play against a faction like this, if you're going to play against a faction like Delhi Sultanate or someone else that has stronger spearmen, you're not necessarily going to go this heavy into knights. But you can see how effective it is going for that double town center and using those economy advantages and playing into your enemy's weaknesses while playing into your own strengths. I think DeMusliM is literally one of the best French players out there. So it's just nice to see how strong this type of gameplay can be. You can see here faster villager production 10, 15, 20%. So you want to get to that castle age as fast as possible, while also using your advantages of the raiding, using your 30% cheaper economy technologies. Resource drop-off buildings, 25 wood cheaper, so you save on the wood cost. You can complement your um, Royal Knights with archers very effectively to deal with the spearmen. But you saw in this game, don't even need to consider that when you get those right upgrades and those health upgrades from the Royal Knights. They just dish out so much damage. They also have melee damage techs that are researched for free. So that's another give or take 200-300 gold that gets saved. In the long run is probably around almost 1,000 gold that gets saved because you don't have to do the +1, +2, +3 attack upgrades. You just have to do the defensive upgrades because they get that for free. So just so many advantages. And if you're trying to climb in the ladder, please use the French, but also look at this video of DeMusliM. I'll make sure that the links are down below to you if you guys want to check him out. He is on stream a lot, and they are busy with tournaments on a weekly basis. So yeah, let's try and learn from these professional players and see if we can, improve ourselves just by learning from the best. Thanks for watching.